Can y'all hear me or see my screen? I think I'm having a link issue. Nope, not working. Oh, you can hear me. I think I may have just messed everything up. Let's see. Let's see if this works. So sorry. It's a Monday. All right. Let's see if this is going to work. Y'all just give me 1 second. Oh, fun times. Awesome. BTSLER GOAT, thank you. Hey, Shake and Bake, Greg, AO, Night Truck, Alnick, Card Lady, hey, Wave, Train Man Dan, B Hawk, Fernando, Homebody, Paul, Chris. Yeah, hit that like button. Hey, Mal, Casey, hey, Nugget, hey, Carlos Puente, hey, Topher. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Carlos. Perfect. Hey, Robert. It's working. Okay. Well, then let's just go with it, right? Okay. Let's see what your chart requests are. We will officially get started in 6 minutes, but I'm going to start with a few chart requests so I can get warmed up because obviously I need it. Oh, Chris, that's really nice. Thank you. Let's see. ETH, sure. So Ethereum is holding this daily double bottom of 1824.67. We hit 1827, so we held it by $3 this morning. I'm going to take the ATR off for now. We are below the daily EMAs. 8 EMA overhead on the 4-hour. On the hourly, we're below EMAs. What a mess. What a mess of a chart. Higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low. Could be a broadening formation, but it's not nice and tight. Oh, the thumbs up works great. Good. Okay. Capitalist, you know I would be hollering too if you asked for SOXL. Okay. Yeah, let's look at SMH. Always look at the underlying. You know me well. We still have this 4-hour channel on semis, and I have not adjusted this bottom line at all. It needs to be adjusted, but I haven't adjusted it. We are just staying confined within this channel. The question is, will we break out before earnings, before GDP and PCE on Friday, or will it require earnings to break us out of this tightening, really tight range we've been in overall in the market? Our EMA's overhead on the hourly chart. As long as that's the case, bears have control. AI is busted. That's a busted chart. That was a great Queen of the Mountain trade last week. I hope you got it. We've lost all our key supports. Your next support is 1747. You're in a weekly downtrend. Your 4 hours oversold, but it doesn't matter much when you're in a weekly downtrend. Reverse back burner, as long as it continues in this large overall downtrend, bounces are for shorting. Okay. Me yell never. ETH, BTC. That's a falling wedge on the 4-hour. So ETH has been lagging Bitcoin per this chart. However, this could be a bullish pattern, and Ethereum could emerge as a winner here over Bitcoin if it were to break bull out of this pattern. But right now, Bears are in control of this chart. Ethereum is more bearish than Bitcoin. We could be forming the beginning of an inverse head and shoulders on the hourly as well. So two different bull patterns, one on the 4 hour, one on the hourly, but it doesn't mean much till it breaks bull. Bonjour, Roger. Yep, I go over Tesla every morning. Tesla's weak. Look at these EMAs. They never once gave us a false signal. Price has been unable to close above the EMA since the bad earnings report. And for now, bounces are for shorting. We closed Friday with an inside bar. Let's see if we stay inside Friday's range or if we break out and over or break down from this pattern below 161.32. Your next support 160.56. This is a bearish pattern. You're welcome. Hey, Jonathan. Mary, Abraham. Good morning, Koss. Okay, GMDA. Did I get that right? Daily uptrend running into the 200 MA. 4 hour tightening pattern. Hourly, we're in a downtrend, trap below the EMAs. I don't like this. If I can't see a clear setup, I can't see a clear setup bearish or bullish. I know that daily 200 MA is causing problems overhead, so I'd probably feel a little more comfortable as a bear than a bull on this chart. Okay. The dollar is in a downtrend on the hourly, on the 4 hour. This is what bulls want to see. They want to see this inverse head and shoulders come to fruition, but the bulls need to get going sooner than later. But bears are in control of this chart. Bears are in control. Okay, tap. Right up here, approaching this high of 58.81. That's a decent level to top fish as long as 58.53 and 58.81 hold overhead. Daily is pretty bullish. 4 hours pretty bullish. Yeah, I'd feel more comfortable top fishing up here. If you're already long, you're comfortable. You have nothing to worry about as long as these EMAs are below you on that hourly chart. Good morning, George. Y'all ready to get started? Good morning. Welcome to the pregame show. This is who I am. I'm Chart Gal Lori. If you want to give me a follow on Twitter, that would be lovely. And you can check us out at chartguys.com. We provide this free show to you every weekday, and our goal is to get you ready for the trading day. And to be honest, our real goal is to get you to check out our community. That's why we do this free. I prepare for 3.5 hours at least every morning getting ready for this show to provide you the best setups that I can find. I go through about 25 charts in 25 minutes. I have notes that are off screen. I use those to guide me so I don't get lost. And I copy and paste those notes when I'm done to TCG members only. And then this is a table that I use to convey to you what I'm seeing. And I promise I did not rig this count. It is truly a push this morning. It is a dead heat between the bulls and the bears. We have uptrend and ES on the weekly and the daily. The 4 hour and hourly are in downtrends. The price pattern, I showed y'all this on the 4 hour last week. We have this potential falling wedge that's forming, but we have not broken bull out of this decisively yet. So a 4 hour lower high is still the more likely scenario here. And when we pull back, what do we do with this? Are we going to inverse head and shoulders maybe? Are we going to break bull out of this? We have lost all momentum. Let me show you what I mean with SPY. SPY on the daily, the average true range. Look down here at this part I'm shaking. Actually, I'm going to make it bigger so you can see it. This is the average true range on the daily for SPY. We are at $4.48, meaning from the high of the day to the low of the day for the last 14 days, the average movement has been $4.48 in a day. And I want you to look, when is the last time we were below 450 on the ATR? Look at this. November 2021. That's the last time that our range was so low. Our volatility has dried up, absolutely dried up. And we have super tightening ranges on most of the tickers that we look at. So that's why individual names like Riot, Mara, Coin, that's why I gravitated toward those last week, because the indices themselves have been super, let's just, for lack of a better word, boring. QQQ, $4.82. We have not been that low in QQQ since November of 2021. So these tightening ranges are set to break this week. The question is, will it resolve to the upside or to the downside? And we're going to have to take one day at a time. We have a huge earnings week, huge. We have Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Meta. This is the Super Bowl of earnings. And then we have GDP data Thursday, but PCE data is Friday, and that's even more important than GDP right here, PCE. That is Friday. The Fed has been very clear that they look to PCA data, and it's a critical piece of the puzzle of what they evaluate as to whether they should raise rates or not, is they look at PCE. So we have a big data week toward the end of the week, and then we have big earnings, and it should break us out of this low ATR environment. So if you've been selling spreads out of the money, you should have been making a ton of money because it has been so sideways. However, I think that strategy will dry up here toward the end of the week as we potentially break out of this range. And I believe we have FOMC, let me look, next week. Yep, we have FOMC next Wednesday, May 3rd, and non-farm payrolls on Friday. We have JOLTS on Tuesday. So next week we have huge data week, and we have big earnings. We have Apple next week. And this week we have Amazon, Meta, Google, and I believe Microsoft. Look up your individual names and make sure if you're in a trade that you know when earnings are. All right. Now, I've gone over the table. That's a push. I've said hello to everybody. I've introduced myself. So now let's go over some indices. All right, looking at ES. We covered that it's a potential 4-hour falling wedge, and we covered it could be an hourly IHS, but I forgot to give you the levels. 41.61 resistance, 41.71 support, 41.33. Then below 41.33, we have a level from 41.17 and then 41.110. And let's make it simple, stupid, just for me, not for you. You're not stupid. 4,200 and 4,100. The goal is to break out of this range to get the next level, the next direction. This will give us the best clue. Until we may stay within this range the rest of the week. And wouldn't that make sense? We're right in the middle at 41.52. We could stay in this range the rest of the week. Okay, let's look at NASDAQ. All right, with NASDAQ, your resistance 13122, support 13014, then 1298250. So those are your resistances and your support. We're looking for a potential 4-hour lower high here, an hourly lower high, and then we could tighten up the rest of the day. And let's see if the last half of the day, maybe we could get some movement. Right now, we just have these tightening ranges. RTY. RTY, let me go back to the 4-hour. When I say falling wedge, I don't have to draw a line or trend line to show me a falling wedge. You see these tiny lower lows without a lot of follow through? That's what gives way to the potential falling wedge. The bears are not getting that follow through when they get the bear breaks. They're having some bear exhaustion to the downside. So hourly, a lower high is anticipated compared to 1804, and then we have enough room for hourly higher low, and then we'll tighten into the last half of the day. Well, Fred, thank you. Thank you, Fred. This is not the easiest thing to do. To talk, to read the chat room, to go over charts and look, and I keep an eye also on the market at all times. On another screen, I have 6 screens, so one of the screens I have the market pulled up at all times so I can give you a heads up if something's going on. All right, so RTY, we have the key resistance, the high overnight 1800, then 1804.50, support 1788 and 1782. I was looking at RTY. What was I looking at? This weekly chart, we're looking for that lower high to be put in. RTY is more bearish than the other indices. Okay, YM, we're holding the 8 EMA. We're potentially losing it. We closed below it. A candle body closed below it on Friday. And we broke this daily inside bar bearish overnight. Again, not getting a ton of follow through. Broken record. Resistance 33967, 33996, support 33775 and 33753. VIX is up green overnight. I can't do a lot with that when it gaps up like that and then gives it all back. So for VIX, I did not put a determination down here because even though it's pretty nice and green, that's not always an inverse correlation. So I just left that one alone. Hang Seng was down 0.58% overnight and DAX has remained pretty flat. Pretty flat overnight. We have Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been bearish, but we're holding this daily support. This daily support of, you know what that looks like? It looks like AMD sitting there at the daily 50 MA. Bitcoin does. Let me get back to Bitcoin. Don't lose your focus, Lori. So double daily inside bar broke bear just to hold this support of 27133. Do you see it? Nope, not that. Here. 27133. We held that support. We held the daily 50 MA right here, right now on Bitcoin. However, an hourly lower high is the more likely scenario as we run into the Great Wall of Louisiana, that 50 MA. We're running into it. Is it set? Yes, we've lost the 5-minute uptrend. So a bear could top fish 27518 here on Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a pretty awful weekend. That's a hurry up and do nothing kind of weekend. So if that's our canary for the market, it's bearish. And I checked Bitcoin, bearish, I hope. Yep, bearish. Ethereum's doing the same thing. It's holding that key daily support. 1824, we hit 1827 overnight. And bears aren't getting a ton of follow through. An hourly lower high is the more likely scenario. Is that set? Yes, we have a 5-minute downtrend. So the hourly lower high is most likely set. So crypto is weak. Gold. Oh, that's nice, funded futures trading. It's very nice of you. All right, gold. So gold, we're looking for a weekly higher low. I always need to set the stage. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I try to set the stage at the higher time frame before I drill down to lower time frames. So the weekly is looking for a higher low. It is the more likely scenario. However, the daily lost its uptrend. 4-hour lost its uptrend. You can make an argument that it just got a pivot high, but that is weak sauce. Hourly, we're fighting with these EMAs. So we have not put in that weekly higher low yet. We haven't. And I think that gold, I'm trying to be careful with how I say this because I don't like making predictions. That's not my job. Thank God that's not my job. But let me go back to the dollar, then I'll finish up gold. So on the dollar, we talked about this potential daily inverse head and shoulders. If this daily inverse head and shoulders confirms on the dollar, I would expect more incoming weakness on the gold and on gold chart, and that weekly higher low may not be set yet. I don't like gold. Yeah, this is a tough chart for me. I don't see a clear setup to give you for a trade. Okay, let's look at oil. Oil, we still have not filled that gap, and I'm going to keep saying the same thing over and over and over, not because I've run out of things to say, but because it still holds true. I want nothing to do with oil until on the long side until it fills the gap at 75.72. We're holding that daily 50 MA at 76.52. We're holding it. If we could dip below and fill that gap, and y'all see that little orange triangle there, that's my alert. I set that alert last week. And I want to know right before it gets to 75.72, and that could be a decent long. And if you're part of live last week, I did give that top fish setup here at 78.09. Midday on Friday. Yeah, this is when I was live right here. That was a great short. But where we are right now, I don't like it short or long. Nat gas. Okay, nat gas, and I'll be a broken record on this one as well. You know, consistency is important, right? Oh, by the way, if you're interested in my chart setup, if you're on the YouTube channel, you can click on the link below in the video description to receive a PDF explanation as to what all these colors are on my chart. All right, so we're trapped below the 8 EMA on the weekly. We are trapped below the EMAs on the daily. We're inside Friday's range. I have watched too much Survivor. I got nothing for you. That's what I want to say with Jeff Probst when they do the reward challenge and the other people lose. It's like, I got nothing for you. Well, I got nothing for you here on this nat gas chart. This is a disaster of sideways action on the 4-hour. If you can trade this successfully, again, you're a better trader than me. This is a mess. I don't like it. The only thing I could think to do is to top fish at 2385. I gave that trade setup last week when I returned. Yeah, that was my first trade setup. Wednesday morning when I did commodities rundown, I gave that setup in TCG. Okay, so nat gas, I don't like it. Apple. Let's look at what the most likely scenario is on Apple. We have plenty of room for a daily high or low. Here's the problem. This hourly 50 MA here, so you see where that circle is on the RSI, that should, right there where those little dots are, that should have set the daily high or low, but it didn't. Typically, if we have a strong uptrend, that first hourly oversold will mark the area for you to scout a high or low. Well, why didn't that hold Friday? It didn't hold. We're down here near the low of day. 164.49 was the low of Friday, and we're at 164.60. And what is firmly overhead? The 8 EMA, not bucking at all. That's bearish for the market until Apple can get its life situated. And if you follow me on Twitter, you saw that I posted this Friday. This was literally Amazon on Friday. From Bogota. Well, hello. This was totally Amazon carrying the market because Apple was having none of it. Apple was weak. Amazon is strong. I think dips are for buying as long as Amazon maintains this relative weakness. Dips are for buying. However, I don't lose sight that we've got this daily 200 MA overhead. I'm not gonna fight bears if they want to step in there. I'm not gonna fight them. We note that there's a daily 200 MA overhead. That's a pretty important level, but we can't argue with price action, and this chart maintains its relative strength. The first 5-minute oversold. Why don't I have my back burner on? First 5-minute oversold right here on Amazon. It didn't give it enough time toward the end of the day, so I like that trade setup for today. 5-minute oversold. Okay, NVIDIA. What did I type for NVIDIA? 4-hour and hourly downtrends. Hourly EMAs are overhead. That's what I typed. Is that still the case? Yes. We filled that gap. I have to be bearish on NVIDIA as long as it's below the Friday high, because then it's trapped below the EMAs on the hourly, and I have to stay bearish. And don't forget, Nvidia had some bad news on Friday. What was it? That they were going to stop producing a certain chip or something? I forget the actual details, but I am bearish on Nvidia. Top fish against 27183. Tesla, rules say we must remain bearish on Tesla because the hourly EMAs are overhead. We're trapped below the 50 RSI. We had bad earnings. So bounces are for shorting with Tesla until we can clear Friday's high. Cost has a beautiful hourly EQ. Higher high, higher low, lower high, higher low, lower high. And we're just getting tight here on this daily candle. We closed Friday with an inside bar. So I love the move that it had on Thursday. It gave back a little bit too much, but I like this long on the hourly EQ because my rules say I have to be looking long if we're over 50 RSI and we're holding the EMAs. I have to be looking long. Yeah, okay, Matt, thank you for that. Thank you. Okay, PACW. So this morning I noticed that FRC, and you got to notice when some animals run together and they run together or they fall together, like Coin, Mara, and Riot. They typically run together or fall together because they're crypto related. Well, these regional banks, FRC and PACW, they tend to run together. So let's go back and look at FRC. Do you see how FRC broke over that high of 1453? It's not holding it right now, but it is relatively strong in pre-market. Well, that made me immediately go look at PACW. PACW was unable to break over 1170. I'm looking for PACW to possibly act as a laggard long trade to that FRC strength. What's going on with KRE? KRE is not having a lot of pre-market volume. It'll be interesting. PACW will have a hard time having a bullish day if KRE is not having a bullish day. And XLF. So XLF, that was a great trade on Friday, that Queen of the Mountain trade if you took it. So I like PACW long, but I need the indices, their major ETF, the umbrella of KRE and XLF. I need them to do well in order for PACW to have a good day. Riot, I like long. And here's the deal. Riot made my week last week short. My entire week. It made my month, actually, because I've had a pretty rough month being distracted. So it made my month. Now I'm looking long because a weekly higher low is still the more likely scenario on Riot. We're right here at the daily 21 EMA. We're at the daily 50 RSI. 4 hours not oversold. I'd like this long a lot better if the 4 hour was oversold. But I'm looking for a potential bounce trade against 1041 for Riot. I'm not going to force it though. I'm not going to force it. XBI, and this is going to be a weird one because I'm picking on the strong name. Do you see this is a potential daily bull flag? But because because I am heavily reliant on these daily 50 and 200 MA, I got a problem with XBI up here against the daily 200 MA overhead. I think it's a clean, super clean top fish level. And then if it breaks bull, then I'm wrong. But I like it short against 8250. And those were my Queen of the Mountain cost, hourly EQ. I like long, PACW, potential long trade following FRC, Riot, potential long trade looking for a weekly higher low against 1041, and XBI, I like it short up against this daily 200 MA overhead against 8250. And JPM, y'all know I love this name. I love to trade it. And right here, right now, it's a potential daily bull flag. So I'm not totally stupid. I'm blonde, but I'm not stupid. I know this is a daily bull flag. I know this is a relatively strong chart, but we're looking for a weekly lower high. Odds favor it. I like a top fish setup against Friday's high on JPM again. Another one. Okay. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Jungle Cat. You're always so knowledgeable. Thank you. Jungle Cat says CBOE launched 0 DTE VIX options today. Take note. Thank you for that. Can I look at Airbnb? Airbnb had that bear cave attack back here, I believe. They recovered pretty nicely. Yep, gap overhead at 117.82. Not all gaps have to be filled, but bulls like that lower wick on Friday's candle. It's still struggling here at the hourly EMAs. It's struggling. It's getting over Friday's high in pre-market, so maybe it can fill that gap at 117.82. Relative strength this morning, but we are coming up against the 50 RSI. Okay, let me see. Yeah, so Riot, went over. I like that one long. And MARA, I like long. For a potential bounce trade against 884. Coin, I don't like. Coin is just weak. Coin, I like it for any type of reverse back burner on coin. I would like it. So first 15-minute overbought may be an area to short on coin. Sure. PEGA. Okay, so PEGA. This has a liquidity issue. I could tell by the way those wicks were that it had a liquidity issue. So it's about $1.5 million traded in a day. That's not a ton, but that's a good looking chart. That's a good looking sideways chart. Pressure's building. Holding the weekly 8 EMA. Bouncing off the daily 50 EMA. I like a pullback buy on this one. Pullback buy. TRUP. Aflac bought this company. Or Aflac has a relationship with this pet insurance company, I think. This is pet insurance. Weekly lower low. 24.85 is your next support. This thing is weak. Daily approaching oversold, but we're not looking for a monthly higher low, so it doesn't matter as much. Weak chart. Shorts or bounces or for shorting. Look at that reverse back burner right there that went off. Bounces are for shorting. EDU. Tomato juice, that's why I'm looking at it. Yes, it is weaker than FRC, but I'm looking for it to be a laggard play. Sometimes you look for laggard plays to possibly catch up with a leader or vice versa. And it's hard to tell when to do that, but I like PACW as a laggard to FRC, but only if KRE and XLF can bounce. Okay, EDU, China name. And Asia was red overnight. We filled that gap at 43.26, looking for a daily higher low. This could be a decent long against Friday, against $43, 43.02. Strong move, but Asia, Hang Seng was red overnight. You're welcome. Indices just crossed the overnight highs. Thank you for that. LAZR, and then I'll wrap it up. LAZR is LAZY. These bulls are weak. Don't give people the benefit of the doubt until they prove it to you. And this one does not deserve the benefit of the doubt. 561 is your support, then 567 the low of Friday. 567, then 561. This is weak sauce. All right, y'all. Thank you for being here. If you could give me a follow on Twitter at ChartGallery, that would be lovely. Check us out at chartguys.com. And TCG members, I will have these notes copied over right here in just a second. Pre-game notes. 4/24/23. All right, y'all use stop losses.